Hi everyone! In this video, we will add and subtract square roots that need simplification. Simplify 1/5 square root of 48 minus 3 square root of 108. The first thing we want to do is factor our numbers underneath the radical to see if there's a perfect square, and if there is, then we can simplify it. I know that 48 is 16 times 3, which means I can break the radical of square root of 48 into the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, and I still have the 1/5 out front. The 108, going through my calculator and trying to see if it's divisible by perfect squares, I end up getting the square root of 36. 36 times 3 is 108, so we get the square root of 36 and the square root of 3. Now, if this isn't something that is coming naturally to you, you don't have to do it all at once. We could just start with smaller numbers. So let's start with 108 and divide it by the smallest square that we have. So 108 divided by, let's do 4, because 4 is a perfect square and it's even, and I can see that the end of my number 108 is also even. When I divide it in my calculator, I get 27. So I'm going to circle 4 because it's a perfect square, not because it's a prime number, and I'm going to try 27. 27 is 3 times 9, and 9 is also another perfect square. And 3 is prime, so we're going to stop there, and this can then be written as the square root of 4, square root of 9, square root of 3, instead of going straight to the 36. And the only reason I'm doing that is if I don't know that it's divisible by 36. And so I can just start out small. And when I do the square root of 4, I get 2 times the square root of 9, which is 3. And the square root of 3 does not simplify, so we'll keep it. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 square roots of 3. Now if we come back to where I had found 36, the square root of 36 is 6. And the square root of 3 stays. So either way that you want to break down your larger numbers, especially if they're really big and it gets confusing, go ahead and you can do some of these smaller numbers first, and you'll end up getting the exact same numbers as we do when we divide by a larger square root. This is just to make it a little bit easier on your own. Now that we have this, I have 1/5 times the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 3 doesn't simplify, so I keep it, minus 3 times, and we've already found the square root of 6 is 6, and we still have the square root of 3. Now we can combine, and 1/5 times 4 makes 4/5, square root of 3 minus 3 times 6 is 18, square roots of 3. Now that these have the exact same radical makeup, we can go ahead and add and subtract those. So we're going to look at the coefficients out in front, and we need to combine 4/5 subtract 18. To do that, we need a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 5 on the 18. So we end up with 4/5 minus 90/5. 4 minus 90 is negative 86, and we keep the denominator of 5. And then we have to make sure that we keep our same radical makeup that we had before, which is square root of 3. And now we've simplified this entire square root calculation, and we're all done.